The Gulf Coastal Plains and Ozarks is a 180 million acre region that is home to more fish, mussel, and crayfish species than any other place in North America. It features an amazing variety of river types, from the cold, clear water springs of the Ozark Highlands to the lower Mississippi, one of the largest rivers in the world. Historically, these rivers played an important role in the settlement of the area, and today they are still heavily used for transportation and as water sources. Riverine habitats are complex, created by water flowing in channels meandering through uplands and floodplains. Surrounding forested lands help deliver clean water in a natural cycle of high and low flows, as well as much of the organic matter at the base of the aquatic food chain. The species that live in these river environments must have good quality habitats to survive. The Gulf Coastal Plains and Ozarks Landscape Conservation Cooperative is working to protect these resources. These include paddlefish in the large rivers, river otter in the small coastal plains rivers, darters and riffles of spring-fed streams, and many more. Given significant threats to these habitats from improperly managed agricultural practices and the effects of livestock grazing, as well as development, impacts from navigation, and climate change, how do we know that the rivers and streams that so many important aquatic species rely on are healthy? To determine the most important components of riverine habitats for naturally occurring species to thrive, the requirements of a few species that represented the major types of rivers in the region were defined. If the habitat conditions for these species were met, it was assumed that the requirements for all species would be met. For example, species like alligator gar require inundated floodplains in the spring to reproduce. It was concluded that the flooding needed to support alligator gar also supports sturgeon and many other species. The floods carry organic matter from the forested floodplains into streams and rivers, supporting the aquatic insects and small animals that young fish need to eat. Completed in 2016, this project resulted in a refined river classification for the Gulf Coastal Plains and Ozarks, and models that define the habitat requirements for 20 species that are representative of the major types of rivers and streams in the region. The Southeast Aquatic Resources Partnership also provided recommendations to guide future research to better understand riverine species habitat requirements and obtain the data to support habitat assessments. This information will be used in a landscape conservation design to map the habitat condition of rivers in the Gulf Coastal Plains and Ozarks region. This assessment will help inform the work of groups like the Southeast Aquatic Resources Partnership to put freshwater conservation projects where they are needed most. While additional research needs to be done on the quantity and quality of water fish and other animals need to survive and thrive in southeastern rivers, we know that rivers flowing through natural landscapes provide the best habitats. To help protect these aquatic resources, we can minimize impacts to the landscape, keep the water flowing, and work toward preserving these wondrous rivers and spectacular species for years to come. To learn more about the protection of high-quality rivers in the Southeast, visit SARP at www.southeastaquatics.net. For more information about this project and others supported by the Gulf Coastal Plains and Ozarks LCC, go to GCPO LCC.org.